build your child up and then saying that they're an artist and they're the best artist in the world. And then the first day that they go into school, the teacher says, well, you know what? I really love that horse that you drew. And they're like, oh my God, it's a hat. What is self-esteem and how do you build it? If you're lucky, you grew up with really kind, loving parental figures. That starts you off with all of those vitamins to be able to build a healthy, secure self-esteem. But that isn't the case for all of us. Sometimes we may have parents that didn't really have all of the tools for parenting. And so that kind of starts us off with a disadvantage. Or we might have been teased or bullied or went through certain traumas or hardship, which can shake that foundation of who we are. When we start off, we usually get our self-esteem just through our parents. At first, we don't even see ourselves as another entity. And then usually when we're really young, who we are, how we see ourselves is a reflection of those parental figures in our life. And then at the age of 7 or 8, we start to realize that there's an outer world, and we formulate how we see ourselves by how we see kind of everyone else. And it's a mish of those two mixtures. And then in our teenage years, it's often then reflected through our peer group and what are they doing, and we're comparing ourselves to others. You want to build internal, stable self-esteem. External are those things like how well we do at something, our degree, our accomplishments, our status, but these things don't really matter. They can be taken from us. What you want to build is intrinsic self-esteem. That's very stable. It's who are you as a person. It's your character traits. It's what no one can take away from you, and it's what you have most control over. Now, the other thing that's really important is how do you talk to yourself? If you are really negative and cynical and harsh to yourself, if you're a realist when you talk to yourself, you're probably way too hard and way too mean. And that can often stop us from accomplishing things because we might end up fearing failure or disappointing others or fear judgment. And because of that, we might not try the things that we might be able to accomplish if we just kept at it. What you want to build is resilience. You want to be able to fall down, to try, to risk, to fail, and then just keep at it. Because if you keep practicing something, you're going to get better and you're going to learn from it. I think that often we want things to be perfect before we actually try something. And because of that, we never try and we never get better at it. So what could have been never becomes. It's interesting because sometimes having a really easy life can actually stop this because you've never failed. For a lot of people that I deal with that have a fear of failure, it's because they've been good at everything. It's come too easily. They haven't learned to deal with difficulty. And when things do get difficult, they quit because it's soul crushing. They're not even used to that. They're like, oh my God, this hurts so badly. So sometimes having a difficult life is actually a panacea because you've already been hurt, gone through so many difficult things. This is nothing, and I can just try and try again. You also want to be proud of when you do something, even if it isn't perfect. You want to be proud of trying, of the attempt of trying something new, trying something risky, even if you do poorly. The manner in which you reflect upon something is going to alter whether you try it again or don't. If you're proud of yourself, even if it isn't perfect or even close to how you wished it had been, you'll do it again. If you're hating on yourself and make this a really unpleasant experience, you'll probably stop and quit things that you might have become good at if you just kept on practicing. So be careful because most of the time it's us that get into our own way. And an interesting one is you also want to be accurate. That positive psychology and everything is unicorns and rainbows, which I love because unicorns and rainbows. But you don't want to do that. You want to actually have a proper assessment, not a realistic, too harsh assessment, but how actually are you doing? If you're saying I'm horrible and this is the worst thing ever and this is destructive and I'm going to die and that's not true, like factually true. You might actually believe it, but it's not factually true. Then you're being too mean to yourself, but you also can be too positive. You don't want to believe that I'm going to do perfectly the first time and everyone's going to love me, because that also is crushing. And that's really important for parenting. You do not want to build your child up and then saying that they're an artist and they're the best artist in the world. And then the first day that they go into school, the teacher says, well, you know what? I really love that horse that you drew. And they're like, oh my God, it's a hat. And they burst into tears. That's crushing for them also. So you want to be positive and encouraging, but still accurate. So if I had to give you some homework towards it, it would be once a day, think of something that you're proud of and what are the traits that are linked to that thing. And remember, the most important thing is why you're proud of, not what you're proud of. And so if you write that down and remember that every day, that'll help build, one, is an understanding of who you are as a person, what you bring to the table, and feel more secure in yourself. And I'm thinking of making a journal. If you have any great journal ideas or things that you would like to see in a journal, let me know, because it is much more effective if you put pen to paper instead of even typing it down. It sticks better because it's slower, it's in your handwriting, and it has a place to exist that isn't ephemeral or could disappear. And I think that especially when we're talking about our own accomplishments and our journey, it's really important to be able to take a look at where we were so we can realize where we are. Expanding your mind is not only a wonderful way to make web slingers, but also increase your self-esteem. And you will not have to swing from rooftops to do it with today's sponsor, Brilliant.org. To learn a new skill, to get you prepared for whatever life has to throw at you. Learn, enjoy, grow with Brilliant's ever-growing new courses. Brilliant makes college-level courses available to everyone. Each course is designed for high-velocity learning to help you stay focused and reach your goals fast. And Brilliant makes learning like a game with fun features that let you challenge yourself, compete with others, so it never gets boring. And we also know that when learning is fun and engaging, it makes knowledge stick better, so you remember more easily and quickly. And Brilliant has thousands of lessons, all from foundational to advanced math to AI, data science, neural networks, and much more, with new lessons added monthly. When I did their course on logic with challenging problem-solving exercises, I got to construct those critical thinking skills that are the basis for mathematical reasoning. And it was enjoyable and interactive. My favorite part is that for myself as a visual hands-on learner, I found that the manner in which I got to engage with each of the problems to make it so much easier to learn. And they have some new really exciting courses that I'm thinking of trying myself, such as How Technology Works, which is really cool because we use this tech, we might as well understand why and how it works, and Thinking in Code. So if you're thinking about coding, maybe you should take a look at this course first. And if you're not sure, why don't you just try everything that Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days? Just visit brilliant.org/Georgia Dow or click on the link in the description. The first 200 people will get 20% off of Brilliant's annual premium subscription. Clicking on that button really does help out this channel, and thank you to Brilliant for sponsoring this show. So you can let me know your thoughts on self-esteem and where you are in your journey in the comments below, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.